Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Right, wel. I feel welcome. Dit is mijn home and I want to achieve success. Okay?
Good afternoon, this is Mick here from Mufc Realist TV. On this day recording, it's the day after we won against Chelsea with 4-1. That was an amazing display from our boys, solidify a place in Champions League. But what about Chelsea? I mean, first and foremost, we are a Manchester United community channel, but we are also like Premier League and football in general. We have to look at, what British media and pundits and, how other teams are performing and what they're doing in the transfer market. And one must say that, last season, I thought that Manchester United season was the worst ever in all of them top 6 clubs. But looking at Chelsea this year, that's even taking the record. That's even taking the piss out of what we did last season, to be fair, honest. But it has to come down to one person alone, and that's Todd Boehly. And this is what we're going to look at. But first and foremost, let's talk about Erik ten Hag and what he has achieved and why he's not been nominated as the manager of the year contender, which is absolutely shite, according to my opinion. Absolutely shite. What about everything that he's achieved? What about he came to the club, inherited this squad that came all the way down from going back down in the DNA line to David Moyes, for instance, to what we have today. So what he's done is magical. He instilled his winning mentality, changed, totally transformed in how we are playing football. We're bringing more joy to Manchester United and more joy to our fan base. We actually won one trophy, and we're on our way to potentially win another trophy against City. But nobody's talking about that. Nobody's really talking about that. So instead of me ranting along, I want to also see what our friends from the paddock are saying. And Jay Murray did a podcast this morning, and I absolutely agree with it. So let me play a clip what Jay is saying here.
It's ten Hag season as well, because I mentioned it earlier. Erik ten Hag has done a fantastic job this season. When you look at the sort of objectives, we talk about getting into the Champions League. That's always going to be your main objective when you're a club the size of Manchester United.
Yeah, 100%. But my objective, according to my opinion, was to see the rebuild and what Erik ten Hag's football is all about. So yeah, but if we get into top 4, that was always a bonus. If we won a trophy, that is even a more bonus. But if we win 2 trophies, wow. Come on, Jay. I told you a line there as well, mate.
You need to get in the Champions League because it attracts a better calibre of players.
Yeah, it does.
The tournament and the competition that we're synonymous with. First English team to win it. Matt Busby, a pioneer there. You want to be in that competition. Also, the fact that Europa League, we've been there, we've done that. Yep, it's okay, but it does feel like the Europa League. It does feel like the second competition in Europe for a reason. You're not getting those big games, bar the Barcelona game, of course. So you want to be in the Europe's top competition. That's the Champions League. He did that. He got us in there. And he's got us in there with a little bit of room to spare as well. Let's not forget that. When many teams this season have struggled, many teams you'd expect to be in the Champions League or in that conversation, likes of Spurs, the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Liverpool, have all struggled. Then
yeah, 100%. And this comes down to the next point is what we're going to talk after. And that is pretty much what the pundits were predicting pre-season before we even kicked the ball. So yeah, well said, Jay.
There's a trophy. He won the first trophy he could possibly win. I'm not just talking about the Bangkok Century Cup. I'm talking about the Carabao Cup. So he had a trophy in our cabinet straight away, ending that little mini trophy drought we've had. So he's got to be given credit there. So
yeah, we got to give him credit, but this is what pisses me off, Jay. He hasn't not even been nominated for his achievement, right? And what if he wins the FA Cup final? They'd be in the mud, actually, to be honest, Jay.
To win a trophy and to get Champions League football as well, that's phenomenal. It really is, especially when you consider he took us over a team that was awful last season. We finished 6th for a reason. We were terrible, and he's turned that around. And you look at how many pundits and experts, so-called experts, wrote Manchester United off, didn't have us finish in the top 4, didn't rate Erik ten Hag. There was people saying, I think Danny Murphy was saying, we should have gone for Gareth Southgate. People dismissing what Erik ten Hag had done in Holland. But he's lived up to the expectations a lot of United fans had of him, and then some. Also look at some of his peers. Pep Guardiola, in his first full season in England, didn't win a trophy and get Champions League qualification. He got Champions League qualification, didn't win a trophy. Mikel Arteta, in his first full season, didn't get either. Jurgen Klopp, in his first full season, didn't win a trophy. So when you compare him to how they've done, Erik ten Hag has done a fantastic job. He deserves credit, and obviously there's a big game on the horizon, and when he wins that, then forget it. Just build him a statue.
Oh, build him a statue. I agree, Jay. Or just rename the stadium Bold Trafford. You know what I mean? Like my headline there. Absolutely smashing point, Jay Murray from the paddock. Big shout out for our friends at the paddock. And let's raise the question. I mean, the overall hate against Manchester United's club coming back with new ownership and us winning trophies again. Nobody wants that. No, because why? Because a positive Manchester United doesn't sell much clicks in the media nowadays, and therefore it's just absolutely shambles. But one can understand, but nobody's talking about Chelsea spend, or everyone wants to predict Arsenal and United, writing them off, but nobody expected Arsenal to be there challenging for the title this season. So it's been a fantastic season. Brings me to the next topic. We have to go back in timeline as usual to see what the pundits were predicting. So let's go. Let's do this. Let's go.
We'll do some predictions. The fun game at the start of the season. Your top four and title winner.
I'm going to go Liverpool, which has surprised one or two.
Obviously,
that didn't happen.
Man City, Liverpool, top two.
This is always hard because obviously I spent 11 years at Liverpool, but I'm going to go Man City. I'm going to go Liverpool second.
Liverpool, Man City, Spurs, Chelsea.
Why
Liverpool, Spurs, Man City. That didn't happen. Spurs, Liverpool. Where's Liverpool? Where is Liverpool, Jamie?
Liverpool?
I mean, there was a point between them last season, and I just think the second half of the season, Liverpool were the better team, City were the better in the first half of the season, built that lead up. And I just think a lot had to do with that Virgil van Dijk wasn't at his best in the first half of the season. But I think Van Dijk being at his best, I think gives Liverpool a real chance, it really does.
Chelsea third. I think they made some good.
Chelsea third. All right, Jamie Redknapp.
Signings.
At the moment, I'm writing off Chelsea. I'm hoping, I suppose, that they kind of sink down a little bit and allow Arsenal in there and Spurs as well.
Wow, Alan Smith, his prediction was absolutely spot on. It's like he had a time travel machine and went into the future. This is exactly what happened. Chelsea dropped off. Arsenal climbed up, gave some little bit of space. They challenged for the title. They came second. The Alan Smith so far has been spot on. Big up to you, mate.
I think everyone's writing off Chelsea. We've got players there.
I'm going to go Tottenham fourth. Who's your team?
I'm an Arsenal. I've been like that with Arsenal and Chelsea. I just think Chelsea are going to buy another 2 or 3 players before the window closes.
Spurs just to the fourth.
They did.
Michael was my hope as well. I was thinking, please.
But I was literally like, if you look at, he's up against Conte, Tuchel, Pep, and Klopp.
Conte's gone. Tuchel was gone. Oh my God. Klopp. Klopp did a flop. The only one that survived and was consistent was cheating City, to be honest. Guardiola. Oh my God.
A lot of the negativity or how this is portrayed from the show that this has been done, like putting this is the anthem, you'll never walk alone onto the speakers is by far. I don't want to jump into it, but that's like one of the maddest things I've ever seen. That is really bizarre because you can't recreate that, and it's like that's trying too hard.
Yeah, well, you know what? Guys, this makes me laugh because it's so hard to predict the season, and when you say you never walk alone, it's like this for me.
Where's the next year? Istanbul or where? Chelsea fan. Yeah. Booked the hotel. Put it in the diary, yeah.
The only thing I'm going to put in my stomach right now is this drink of Java and drink the salty Liverpool tears. But we got to talk about Chelsea, of course. This is the embargo section where we have to look at, based on what the pundit said, based on the predictions, based on the money spent in the transfer market, because, our CEO, Richard Arnold, came out in the interview and blatantly said that, we spend 1 billion on players and nothing to show for. But what about Todd Boehly? Why is nobody talking about Todd Boehly? Let's dive into the Todd Boehly story. Let's do it. And after that, I'm going to go to the panel which we had a pre-recorded session regarding, I think it was Wednesday when they had a match prediction and lineup prediction. So it matches perfectly beautiful for this stream as well. So let's have a look at Todd Boehly. What does Todd Boehly said? Right. Well, this is a very interesting article that I dug up on the April the 19th, basically, that's saying Chelsea has spent 600 million on new signings. Here is why that's significant. 𝒂𝒊𝒔𝒉. Okay. Well, first and foremost, like, you know, you need to understand the story that back in May, the UK government approved the sales of Chelsea, right, to an ownership group led by Boehly, dealt by more than $5 billion, right? And this was, of course, handled by Rain Group, as we know. It was a public auction, but I'm not going to say how, you know, Abramovich was forced out to sell this club. But, you know, let's dive into this story. Like, Chelsea was previously owned by Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich, who put the club for sale in early March following the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So basically, the UK government intervened and sanctioned Abramovich, forced him to sell, right? Forced him to sell because he came in invested, and they lost that spine, that sugar daddy, and the best, you know, sporting director, negotiator in the business, which was Marina, right? Everyone knows Marina's name, and even Peter Cech, and the people that really understood Chelsea. So basically, Todd Boehly just came in, just throw everything out of the window, ripped it up like it was an open heart surgery, and acted himself like a, you know, the sporting director, the CEO, the receptionist, the HR director. Yeah, that was in the best interest of his club, he says. But in May, UK government added Abramovich to his sanctioned individuals, part of efforts to isolate Russian President Putin following Russian invasion of Ukraine. This is what gets me, right? You know, they put sanctions on Abramovich just to get to Putin. Listen, since when does football and politics mix together? But obviously in UK it does. Boehly's reign has already seen him get rid of coach Thomas Tuchel. Yeah? He fired Thomas Tuchel. Like, here's where the circus starts. Who guided Chelsea to his second Champions League title in the season 2021, replacing the German with Graham Potter, or Harry Potter, the Wizard of Brighton. As well as Chelsea, Boehly has invested a number of sporting franchises, including stakes in the MLB's Los Angeles Dodgers, the NBA's Los Angeles Lakers, and the WNBA's Los Angeles Sparks. So, since arriving at Chelsea, it's estimated that Boehly has spent 600 million on transfers. Wow. 600 million transfer, barely a day by in January without Chelsea being linked to any. Yeah, basically they were linked to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. The transfer strategy was go like, you know, it's like me going out to have a drink with this girl, right? And I just basically wined and dined this girl, and I just say, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I come back, and Todd Boehly is there chatting it up and putting the how much, you know, drinks more do you want? Do you want champagne? Do you want a limousine ride home? Yeah, I fix it. Bang, here you go. How much do you want? So that's been kind of wheeling and dealing strategy, but this is absolutely true because it's also been registered by FIFA. Like, the figures are there, you know, how much they're spending. And of course, this is an observation that, you know, at the end of the day, the FFP rules comes to play as well. Like, according to the UEFA regulations, they went all in the January window, splashing the cash for Mudryk, as we've seen. Like, you know, Mudryk's acquisition was 132 million deal also for Enzo Fernandez, offering 7 years contract. They paid about 90 million fee for Mudryk as well. So they did madness people in the summer. Wow. Can you imagine? And where did they finish in the table? Well, it's not really over yet, but I think it's not far from relegation. You know, you can buy a squad, you can assemble a squad, but if you don't have a vision or a culture or a coaching structure, of course, You guys had the worst season I ever seen. It's a shambles. And I feel sorry for you, Chelsea fans, but we got to call it out. So before I continue, this was just a prelude. And I want to go back to my panel, what my panel said on, where was it? On Wednesday's podcast. All right? Take a sip on your coffee, and I'll see you in a few seconds with my scintillating panel. Cheers.
Hello and welcome to Mufc Realist TV. I'm a member of this channel, but you should subscribe or in this show, hey, we're gonna look a cow in the ass. Let's go.
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Dankjewel. Ik voel welkom. Dit is mijn home and I want to achieve success. Okay?
That's it. What's love got to do? Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that we at least started. Guys, how you doing? Botswana Papi, how's it going? All the way from the USA.
I'm well. I'm swell. I'm excited for tomorrow. I know that we have at least a point to fight for, so we have to put up a fight tomorrow. I'm excited. Chelsea have less to fight for, so I'm feeling confident about tomorrow.
You're feeling confident, Phil. You know what? We got to steal all the 3 cookies from Fat Frank, so he needs to go and diet. What do you reckon? Are we gonna make it?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, when you look at the way Chelsea's been playing this season, there have been an absolute shambles. They remind me of what City did under Mark Hughes. When they were first bought out with the millions, they came in with all these big names and they didn't know how to deal with it. They did need time to gel, and they took a few years to gel. Now, I'm not saying Chelsea will take a few years to gel, but they clearly have ripped the heart out of the club, and I hope that our new owners don't the same, because they've just kind of gone, you know, you've seen the likes of Mount and stuff, who has been great, and I know he's been linked to United, and there's various opinions on that as well, but you know, the likes of him, who's been great for Chelsea for years, and he's only 24 years old, and he's hardly been seen because the new superstars have come in. It's like, well, what about the team around, you know? When you look at what Eddie Howe's done at Newcastle, he's done it absolutely spot on. Whether that was because his hands were tied and he couldn't get the players in, or it was because of financial fair play, I don't know. Yeah. But he's done it right. He's kept the club. He's kept the players who've brought them to where they were. And then he's added strength and goals to the squad as well. Whereas Chelsea just kind of ripped it apart. 3 managers in a season, really poor. Oh. So we really should get the win tomorrow at Old Trafford as well. Tenhag, we will create the chances, but we'll take them.
I mean, I'm saying I'm going to go to Jarvis on this one. But guys, you are the most important as usual. You are the VR rooms. If we are foul, you know, you can give us the red card. You understand? Or yellow card. But you know what? That reminds me, Jarvis, a little bit of a Ed Woodward 2.0 on crack or speed or something, right? Doesn't it, right? You go in and sign players, like, you know, without even consulting with your manager, and you sack 3 managers in almost a season. You know, you end up like, you know, sacking Tuchel that got you a Champions League trophy to go into Harry Potter that couldn't even swing his wand, and then you end up with Frank Lampard. What's going on, Jarvis?
Yeah, you know, it's a comedy or a tragedy or what you want to call it, because I don't think he have ever run the club before. He don't know how to do it, and he's taking all the decisions by himself. And he's a novice. He doesn't know how to do it. He spends, I don't know, is it 400 or 600 millions in this window?
Should I sing? 400 million down the drain. Todd Boehly is fucking insane. I'm sorry. Yeah, man. Seriously,
it's ridiculous. It's insane. It's absurd. Everything is absurd with Chelsea at the moment, and they have a tradition of sacking managers. But you know,
they do.
Now,
but the
now
biggest mistake
are
that
going
they did was
insane.
to get rid of. Biggest mistake, Jarvis, and Football Power Hour. It was to get rid of Marina, right? well, Marina Sak-ivskova, something like, she was the best sporting director, negotiator in the business. The deals she managed to pull through, unbelievable. But he was kind of like an ego. I'm going to be the sporting director. I'm going to be the team massage, the team doctor, the team psychologist, everything, like one-man band. It clearly doesn't work, Papi. So basically, it is like a open heart surgery, like Ragnick did, but too much. You can't like, recruit 8 players in one season. You got to embed everyone. Everyone's going to understand your playing tactics. And top of that, you sack 3 managers, Papi. We talk about this anatomy. You know what I mean? This, if
I know about the anatomy, bro. So it's like exactly riffing off of what Phil said. It's like Chelsea have been the learning punching bag for everybody of like, hey, if you're trying to overhaul a club, you have to be systematic and tactful and very strategic about it, and you have to know that it's not an overnight thing. And you said getting rid of Peter Cech as well. That's the whole thing of like,
they understood the culture of the club.
It's very informative for us as Man United, who are about to enter a new frontier, new phase, where we have to be able to know that like change is going to come, but it's not going to come today. It's going to come in segments, and it's going to come in little bits. So it's like getting rid of the backroom stuff is an important part of change, but you have to make sure that you are getting rid of the right people at the right time, and so forth. So Chelsea and Nottingham Forest have been a very, very good learning point for all of us.
Phil, I mean, if we look back when we started this season, you and me, when we started this, I started solo, I met you, and then we started to kick on the streams. Remember, like every pundit was saying, like, in the beginning of the season, they were saying, oh, they were tipping Chelsea to finish 3rd, 2nd. Where are they now?
They were buying them 11th, 12th, something like that. They were, they were buying the players who everyone else was linked to. The likes of Enzo Fernandez were supposed to be going to United, but we couldn't do it because of the financial situation. And Boehly went, yeah, we'll have him. And then
what it is, mate.
What's his name up front? Striker from Atletico Madrid. Name escapes me. He's
Felix.
Chelsea.
Oh, Felix.
Felix. Thank you. João Felix. We almost had that deal done. Let's be honest. He was coming to United, and Chelsea went, you want how much more? Yeah, we'll give you another 5 million. Here's another 5 million. And literally everybody who people wanted, they didn't have a structure. They didn't have a plan. They didn't say that player will fit our team, because it was like, United want it. They must be good. Let's get them. Let's get them quick. Let's get them in.
Yeah.
But,
I have an analogy, gents, if you allow me to. What Todd Boehly is? Everyone has it in your friendship. You have this annoying mate that always goes out for the girlfriend that you're after, right? You tell him this.
I'm married.
Yeah.
I want her.
Yeah, you go like, I really like her. And you go to the party, and then you see your mate is all over that girl, trying to sort of hook her up as a competition. This is Todd Boehly, right? He doesn't have a clear plan. He doesn't have a strategy. He just goes after what everyone else thinks is just a shining thing, the next thing, right? So clearly saw that, like, with Mudryk, like Arsenal was almost getting it done. All of a sudden, Todd Boehly sweeps in, boom, pays 90 million and plus a 7-year contract.
Mick, Chelsea's entire transfer strategy was pretty much that. They were hijacked by Barcelona, and then they went on a spree where they were hijacking every Premier League deal that is there for any rumor. Todd Boehly was almost as if he's looking at who's trending on Twitter and on the transfer rumor mill, and
Tinder.
he's going that. And so he's famous. There's this phrase that's synonymous with Todd Boehly now, that we are here to have a meal. And he's a guy who travels and goes to, props to him though, he gets things done. He's an owner that he gives a manager a blank check and gets things done.
But imagine, Jarvis, you're whining and dining this beautiful girl of your dream. I know you're married, just an analogy, right? You say, I'm just going to go to the bathroom. All of a sudden, Todd Boehly walks in and buys her the champagne and VIP and limousine service all the way to the hotel. You come on. Is that what happened? right? No, it's ironical, and the thing is, like, we're allowed to criticize and laugh about it because at the end of the day, you spend over 400 billions and you have no structure, no cohesion, and at the end of the day, like come January, come summer, you can't even buy anything. So you went all in, like the financial levers, like Barcelona. They sold the kids, and now he has to sell a lot of players, and now he have to also bring back Lukaku.
Yeah.
The thing is, Lukaku wants to stay. He wants to stay at Inter, doesn't he?
But that is a shamble, Phil.
Yeah.
Lukaku story. How the hell you buy him for 100 million for Inter? He spits his dummy out. 1 year later, he's back in Inter. What a clever piece of business.
Sounds like Pogba all over.
He might come back as a World Cup winner, though. So
a World Cup? You mean a Champions League winner?
I mean, Champions League winner.
Yeah. Since when has Lukaku performed in big games? That's why they call him Big Game Lukaku.
Well, let's hope he does against City, eh?
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Yeah, true. So, gentlemen, all good in the hood. How is the VR road, Nomi? What's the pulse? I mean, sorry, we had to start the tribute to Tina
so
Turner.
I've been dropping a few little comments in that kind of related to things we were talking about as we were talking about it. I'm going to quickly go back through some of them. I'm not going to read them all out because there's so many. I've been popping them up on the screen. Brandy was saying, even Fabrizio said the Mount user has legs. Is he mad? And then Jamie's responded saying, under tenhag, imagine the player Mount could be when you look at what he's done to revive Wan-Bissaka's career. Google this saying, don't believe any news coming out at the moment. New owners will the targets. No, the targets won't be true truths. Everyone's inventing stories at the moment. They are absolutely. But we do know that Fabrizio does usually do a little bit of extra research instead of just jumping on the latest story. So I'm not saying he's right, but he does. I'm sure there is a little bit of legs in there and possibly some interest, but how much is a different matter. Cooper Andy saying we don't want Mount, we need Caicedo, De Jong, Kane. Enough mediocre English players.
Yeah,
Kane is English.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? Guys, I did a new presser conference reaction.
So is Mason Mount.
Yeah. I did a stream this afternoon. It was supposed to be just a 15 minutes, but it ended up like 40 because the community was mad, right? And it was such a good energy. I saw you guys in the chat as well. So here's the thing, right? Pochettino is coming to Chelsea. Poch, Kane, that's a marriage, right? They always, I mean, don't you think there's a possibility that, like, Kane, Poch comes in and sells a lot of players, like, and say, I want a striker. And the only striker that I know that I want is Harry Kane. What do you
who is he going to be able to sell from Chelsea to get his money back? He can't sell the big signings that's just come in. I mean, the rumour on João Felix, and it's another rumour, there's so many at the moment. The João Felix wants to go to United where he wanted to go in the first place. Whether that comes off, I don't know. But I still quite like him. I think he's still young. I still think he's got the...
But how has he done at Chelsea, though, Phil?
How's anybody done at Chelsea? I don't think you can use Chelsea as an example this season, Again, we've just been saying that they've thrown all these players together with no understanding of anything and no plan. 3 managers in one season, it's hard for anyone to adapt to. Different styles, different, everything. But I think, whilst Chelsea do need to sell, who can they sell to make big money from? Because they're going to have to bring a lot more. And not only that, if they want to convince other players that, come and join us, they've got to come and join something.
But that's why
you've got the likes potentially on the brink of United, City, Newcastle now, who are playing really good football, Brighton, who are playing fantastic football, who are all in European competition, which Chelsea can't offer. It doesn't matter how much money you've got, you can't offer it. And you've got another European Cup coming up, or European Cup coming up next year. So people want to be in the manager's eyes for the national teams as well. And if they're not playing in Champions League, which is the big competition, or maybe Europa, then they've got a lot less chance. I mean, when we were in Europa, under Moyes, we got Mata, and that was a big signing for us at the time. We overpaid for him, we know we did, but he was our marquee signing who said, I believe in the future, not in where we are right now. And Chelsea's got to convince people of that. they've got to be able to come in and say,
Yeah.
you're joining the project. You're not joining where we are right now. But
no,
then,
but
as Tenhag's already been saying in his pressers, the big names are ready to join United right now.
Here's the thing, though, guys. It is very common, Diane, because Chelsea needs to sell. They put a list out, right? So the ones that I see is Loftus-Cheek, Mount being on the list. This is a valuable asset. Who else? Broja. What's his name? Armando Broja. There's a couple of few that need to offload. And it's very common in the transfer, when the transfer window is, the agent goes out and testing the waters, offering the player to all these clubs. Yeah. So he might have had a conversation with John Murtough and company. He had a conversation with Chelsea, with Tottenham, with everyone, basically, just to find, because you just don't put one egg in one basket. You're trying out to all different clubs and whoever wants it. That is the job of the agent, by the way. So yes, he might have had a conversation with United, but is it true that we want him? We don't know. And at the end of the day, it's Erik ten Hag's list that matters. So I don't know. I don't rate him that much, but as what you guys said, he had a tough time. He was doing well under Frank Lampard's first season. Then he was not favored by Tuchel. Was not favored by what's his name, Harry Potter. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think we need better, according to my opinion. But however, if we're looking for squad depth, why not? Depends on what we're going to get for it. Google this. Welcome. Yeah,
Box is responding. Sorry, Google is responding to Box. Issue with Mount is he's similar to both Bruno and Eriksen. I don't think Erik ten Hag will want 3 players for that position.
No,
I think you're right, but I think the other thing you've got to remember is we've got an aging squad. So whilst we've got quality and experience in Eriksen and Casemiro, they are getting towards the end of their career, and we need to be building and having those players in your squad to be able to learn from is invaluable experience that you can't get once they've gone. When you think of I forgot it, I'll come back to it later. The guy who Fergie got for half a season, Henrik Larsson, and
there's only one Henrik Larsson.
He was at the very end of his career, and he was Rooney, who was at the pinnacle of his career at the time, was just lapping up what he could gain from him in those 6 months. So what can the likes of Mount or someone else learn from the likes of Eriksen and Casemiro in a short period of time?
It's going to be a mad season, to be honest. It's going to be a very mad transfer season. You're going to see something mad on the transfer market once we have new owners in. Right? No more glazes to block the transfers of the manager's first choice. And this is why I'm excited about, right? Felix is there on loan, correct? Yes, he is. He's back on loan. Will he go back to Atletico Madrid? I don't think so. Apparently he fell out with Simeone, right?
Yeah.
So that is the reason why he went on loan. So will he stay? Will he not? I mean, can they afford to buy him? Can they loan him up another season? Don't know, to be honest, right? But anyway, so they are coming to Old Trafford. The way Jarvis, what's the squad looking like? And in terms of the injuries, like this afternoon, I did a stream and I was looking at the team news and I got a shock. You have Kovac is out, you have Mason Mount is out. Who else? Cucurella.
Chilwell is injured. Cucurella, Chalobah, Reece James, 𝒖𝒄𝒌. Yeah.
Holy moly.
Also, N'Golo Kante is a doubt as well.
Yeah. Mason Mount is out. Kovacic is out. You have Kante and Broja. So there's not many players left. They only have 55 to choose from.
Broja is also a doubt, by the way. He's got a knee injury. Armando Broja.
Yeah, I said that, Broja. Bro, so wait a minute. The only thing that I am a little bit sorry about it's the Enzo Fernandez. Why did you sign up for that project for 7 years contract? That's the thing. You're stuck there for 7 years, mate. You're stuck in that team. And tomorrow Enzo Fernandez is going to be able to carry that midfield. But who else is going to play within that midfield? What options do they have? Kovac is not there. Kante is not there. Who else? Gallagher,
Loftus-Cheek. Maybe we see Pulisic, not in the midfield.
That Mudryk is currently trending due to disrespecting a guy that was trying to work out. Imagine paying 90 million for some guy whose only claim fame is a bad tweet. Yeah, I mean, that's what we were saying. He's an A train, like a baby Traore from what's it? Oil Me Up. What's his name? Adama Traore with no end product. He's faster than A Train. You know what I mean? If you've seen that, The Boys, that TV show, A Train. Now, but seriously, like, this is typical, like Todd Boehly, what he did, like, because Arsenal was in for him, and then all of a sudden, like, boom. So anyway, now he's a good player, but like, 90 million for a player that played in the Ukrainian league for what? Donetsk, I think it was, Shakhtar. Todd Boehly, like Oprah on acid. You got a car, you got a car, you got a car. Yeah, I mean, even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer looks like a better manager than actually Frank Lampard, because it's similar situation. You know, Frank was given the keys to the red Ferrari, but he crashed it, and now he got it back a second time to drive it. It's ridiculous, right? So. Ole is the worst thing that I have at her club, and no, I don't think so. The thing is, I don't want to offend my Norwegian colleague here, but Ole was a fantastic player, right? And he was never meant to be that he will have the full-time job. So there was the problem, like, with the fan base. He was doing well, the manager bounced, and everyone was singing his praise. Give him the job, give him the job. As soon as they gave him the contract, instead of waiting to the end of the season and discuss it, they gave him the contract and the wheels fell off.
Yeah, Manens says that he didn't agree as well, and I don't agree. I mean, I think Ollie did a pretty good job. We had some great results under him. We saw
second.
We saw some great football under him.
Yeah.
We
came to the Europa League final
when he needed to be. I think he ran out. He did run out of ideas.
Yeah.
You did see many games where his tactical astuteness was a bit low, where you think more experience, he'd have a better chance, but. We know that, like the Frank situation, the only way you can compare him to Frank is the fact that it was brought in to someone to appease the fans, thinking it will get them back on side and stuff like that. So,
right. Well, Phil, the difference is that he took us to Europa League final, and remember.
Oh no, I'm saying the only way you can compare the two, that a lot of people naturally do, is that natural link.
And I will never forget the PSG game, like the Champions League night. With Lukaku late goal and everything, right? And Tuan Sebe pocketing, like, Mbappe. That was like an Ollie game. Phenomenal. That was mad. But I will never forget that final, like, Sevilla, like when it went to 11 or 13 kicks and David De Gea was the final kicker, right? But that was kind of like, he played a little bit of chicken there. Like, he could have done it better. But I don't know. He didn't wait. He waited with the substitutions. I don't know. Levy doesn't want to deal with Chelsea. Yeah, Levy doesn't want to deal with anyone, Box, to be honest.
No, I think you're talking about the Kane situation, though.
I know. I'm referring to that. So the most sensitive thing is Miloš Mitić. Dobro večer. Miloše, kako si? Miško, pozdravi ekipo iz Srbije, najbolji ste. He says, g'day or good evening from Serbia. Hello from Serbia. You are the best. No, you are the best. Ti si najbolje, Miloše. Miško.
Simply the best.
He's simply the best. You guys are all simply the best. We are having a midnight vibe. Dobro večer. Who said that? You
Botswana Papi.
Papi. You have some hitting skills. Dobro večer, Papi. Yeah. Well, you speak, but what's the language in Botswana?
Setswana. Setswana is one of the languages.
Okay, how do you say good evening, Setswana?
Dumelang. Dumelang.
Dumelang. Ooh, sounds so sexy. Dumelang.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to hear some what was it?
Setswana. Yeah. Oh, for sure. We will. We'll hear more Setswana rants, I'm sure.
Come on. I want to hear a Setswana rant.
Yeah. No. As definitely as the season goes, we will definitely be learning more Setswana.
A few drinks later. Right?
Yes.
Big up, guys. All right. So Chelsea could sell Loftus-Cheek, Chalobah, Pulisic. Yeah, Pulisic. That's, you love Pulisic from America, right? So Ziyech, Lukaku, Hudson-Odoi, Bukayo Mendy. We would take Ziyech to Manchester United.
Right wing though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Anthony's position. He's not going to bring the Ziyech in. We don't need a Ziyech right now.
We don't need any Chelsea rejects.
Yeah.
Chelsea have players to sell. However, they let Marina go. That's what I said. That was the queen of getting value out of outgoing players. 100%. She was immense. Unless they are doing something this summer, next one they will be hit with severe sanctions. Yes, sanctions and FFP. Seriously, they are in deep trouble, right? I mean, they looked at it, how they did the deals, like, and overinflated the contracts. No, you know. You can only do 5-year contracts, but they kind of got away by doing like a 7-year loophole, 8-year in payment plans. So it's definitely going to bite them. G-Live 10, big up, mate. Let him have Kane, 30 years old, not getting younger. It's not Benjamin Button, G-Live. You know what I mean? Everyone's seen Benjamin Button. It's not going to work like that. No, it's like that. Andy, big up, Andy. Breaking news, the sale has been delayed because Avram and Joel want to lose their virginity first before selling. Guys, you're crazy, man. I love this community. The newfound community. Cooper and Andy. Jesus Christ. God. You know, moderators. Don't make me read something that I regret and get banned on YouTube, guys. Sorry. Like, you know. But anyway, guys, I'm glad we're all happy. I'm glad we're playing the... is it almost the last game of the season? It is, like, you know, Sunday is the last game, Fulham, where we're actually having the Mitrovic revenge. So there you have it, people. This was the end of the show. I really hope you enjoyed this content. Please like and subscribe. Smash it, because it's free. This is the only dividends that we take out of this channel. Like, you know, it's your donation through likes and subscribes and your comments. But please come back tonight, because it's Friday on this day recording, 26th of May. We are doing the happy hour trivia quiz show, and it's going to be a smashing podcast. Guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and be nice to each other on the social. It's been Mick Ruby and the panel that was pre-recorded. Ciao for now. Bye. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.